Holla peeps, it's your girl Schree reporting live for SchreeTV. We are in the courtroom. Bert and Ernie in his opening statement said, I know a lot of you don't like Jodi Arias. 9 times out of 10, I don't even like her. Winning.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It's not even about her sitting before the cameras in Inside Edition and saying that no jury will convict her.
She did say that. No jury will convict her.
What happened? What happened between what we see in Exhibit 159 and what we see in Exhibit 162? Well, I guess you know there's one more thing this case isn't about.
It's cold.
Remember we heard that charge of felony murder yesterday in the state making an argument that was incomprehensible? This idea that, well, do you believe Jodi's version of events? She's guilty of felony murder because she went to Travis's home and she decided to steal his gun. And in the course of trying to steal his gun, she shot him. She went there, they had sex, they did all these things, then she decided she wanted his gun and decided to take it. And wanted it so bad that she was willing to kill him. That's the theory of felony murder they have put forward.
You can tell that there's a chasm between the two defense attorneys. They don't like each other.
But that's just some of it.
You can just feel it.
We also heard this idea that, well, she was unwelcome once she put the weapon upon him and she was there to commit a burglary or another felony. There's no other felony. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing. It's silly. It's fearful. That charge is there out of fear. It makes no sense. Under any scenario does that make any sense. Either she was there to kill him because the state said, hey, this is a plot that began in May. Either she was there to
Kirk
kill him,
Nurmi.
or she wasn't.
Kirk Nurmi is his name. I was just saying Kirk Nurmi. I mean, shit. I didn't know what his name was.
What is this?
It's on the screen now.
Well, as we just spoke of and just
Kirk.
mentioned,
Like Captain Kirk.
yesterday,
He ate Captain Kirk. He ate
in
him.
May of 2008, Jodi Arias came up with a plan. Now they pointed to a couple different days yesterday. Pointed to May 19th, the day that Miss Arias had a conversation with Miss Housley that she was fearful.
Like, how do you defend this woman? How?
Was fearful of Jodi.
Like, you can't.
Of course, on May 10th, we heard that they had a phone sex conversation.
Phone sex
And
conversation.
On the 6th, we heard this conversation, we heard or questions about this conversation, in which Mr. Alexander had called Miss Arias a whore, a slut. And
He did call her a whore, a slut, and a three-hole wonder. Why do they feel like that? They
at some point in time here in late May,
censor that. We want to hear three-hole wonder
decides
out of the mouth of a lawyer.
that Travis Alexander,
Jeez.
what we heard yesterday was that he had finally decided to end the relationship and she couldn't deal with it. Well, let's start there. Because what you're going to see as a relationship...
See, the body language of that female chick defense attorney. You can tell she doesn't agree with Kirk Nurmi or whatever the fuck his name is.
And the first place it doesn't make any sense is the very premise of why. Now, the state doesn't have to prove motive, but they come up with this motive so we can discuss it. Why? Because she couldn't live without Travis Alexander. Right? She's crazy. She can't break up with any of her boyfriends. She can't let it go. She couldn't live without Travis Alexander. All right, that's the theory. That's the motivation. That's why she starts this plan into action. Except
That lawyer's like,
remember, in May of 2008, she had moved back to Wairika,
with these puppy dog eyes.
to get away from Travis Alexander. To get away. She didn't want to be
That's not even comfortable.
She talked to her journals about how the cloud had lifted, right? These journals that were later argued to be incomplete. We'll talk about that more later. There's no rules.
It's much better when I have the door open. Lighting. I'll be right back.
But point of fact is,
enjoy the fuzzy poster.
This girl is supposedly obsessed and moves away. They still talk on the phone, but she moved away. What else is she doing? There are evidence that she had an account on LDS Linda, a moral dating site. She was a young Mormon woman in her mid-20s, much like probably a lot of people on the website, who was looking for someone.
There's no light better than God's light.
Aspersions on that, but ultimately, a lot of people use these sites, and Jodi was using them. She wasn't so locked in on Travis that she wasn't.
He got his hair cut for his clothing.
We met one of those other guys, Ryan Burns.
He got shape up.
She began conversating with him.
Conversating. Conversing. Conversate is not a word. Oh.
She was interested in moving past Travis Alexander. So this whole idea to begin with of why this plan was put into place. This plan would have been masterminded, right, in May of 2008. Because for this very reason. And the reason doesn't make any sense. Okay.
He's wearing purple. He looks like a fucking plum. Like a big plum. He should have just worn a purple jacket. Why not mix it up like all the way? Pink tie, purple tie, purple shirt, black jacket. Wear purple jacket.
She needs a way to shoot him, right? Way to kill him. So the state says she orchestrated a theft. A theft of a gun.
Oh, he is boring.
Now, in Exhibit 325, we see this so-called gun cabinet. This impenetrable force.
For real.
We also see this in 326. The same gun cabinet. Now, I would say to you, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, that if she wanted a weapon, and this is the weapon she wanted, for whatever reason. Keep in mind, this is a 25 caliber gun, a very weak gun. But if she wanted this weapon, and she was going to leave and go to Mesa on a covert mission with a single-minded purpose to kill Travis Alexander, and that's what we're talking about here. She could have just reached her hand in there the day she was leaving and taken that gun. We never know whether it would be discovered missing or not. There would be no police report, there would be no evidence. Nothing. The other thing is, what we heard, is that Jodi, when she was in Eureka, she didn't live with her parents, but they were there. And one of the big evidence you heard was that Jodi's father owned guns that were not registered. She could have got one from Dad. Probably a more powerful gun. But she didn't, right? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you, first of all, why would you stage this burglary? Right, this burglary that the state wants you to believe is so suspicious. Why would she stage this when she could just reach in and get it, or get it done from another source? You know where else she could have got a gun? We heard about Matt McCartney, the friend that wouldn't betray her as the state tried to portray so much on the cross-examination of Jodi Arias. He had guns too. She subbed him on her, but no. He didn't get a gun there either. Would have been untraced, would have been no sign of it. But under this concocted theory that she orchestrated this theft, she breaks in, or her herself steals money, a DVD player, and this .22 caliber gun. And it creates a police report and it creates a trail. Would that be a choice? And keep in mind, the state conceded yesterday that Jodi Arias is a smart woman. Is that behavior consistent with a smart woman who is starting, planning this covert mission? Keep in mind, it's covert, very important. That's what the city said yesterday. Covert mission to go to Mesa, Arizona and kill Travis Ellington. Why would you start a trail? The type of gun, the bullets, everything. Doesn't make any sense. Why would she do that? So now, we have two nonsensical propositions. Why she would want to kill Travis Alexander, and how she obtained the weapon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the nonsense kind of continues from there. Because, of course, what else would she need to go on this covert mission to Mesa, Arizona? Well, she needs a way to get to Mesa, Arizona, right? Well, we've heard one thing. She owned a car. Could have drove it to Mesa, Arizona.
I'm on the forum too, Pete.
Now we heard that maybe it wasn't in the best mechanical shape.
Oh, it's 11:44, honey. Let me cut this short here, okay? Because after 12 minutes, it starts acting funny. Anyway, there'll be more SchreeTV coming at you in a few moments. Stay right here. Holla. Love you.